Good evening, citizens, and welcome to the Shattersong LARP Diaries. We've finally gotten around to getting your usual co-hosts, Larkin and Farron, together to talk about the final, the final day of E1 for 2023. We have renamed the podcast. Unfortunately, we can't wow. I'm gonna
Let's
start.
again.
That
I
is...
think we should start this one again.
Nah, I'm keeping this. I'm
So
keeping this.
brand.
Nah.
We
This is
can't
so brand.
rebrand the
That's
podcast
it.
speakery person.
Ah,
No, I refuse. I refuse. Look, that
Well,
implies any kind of post
We've
episode
broken
editing.
it
I'm
now.
keeping
It's
this.
late at night. It's been weeks since E1. We're close to E2. We've just got to get through it at this stage. It's representative of our mental states.
I think, yeah, the above in the script is excellent. So, hi. You can't replace the podcaster, but the podcast can be renamed. That's what I was trying to get across. But anyway, with that, clearly we've had you two jump in already. I don't think you need any introductions.
Yelling
I
cut.
think everyone
Yeah.
knows who we are at this point.
You'd hope so, yeah. Like, I think looking at the number of people who listen to this, if they haven't picked up, but there's like 3 different people instead of just one with an incredible voice range, they
That would be pretty impressive, actually.
I listen
Yeah.
back to it and I can't tell.
So
Anyway,
you might need help with that. It might be a separate issue.
Wow, Matty really has the same voice as me.
Alarming.
Um, right, Sol.
What is reality? Let's
So,
all go with it.
I mean, for you, Larkin,
No,
it's
well,
it's not
no.
real anymore. But we'll.
Shattersong in the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Larkin died. That's what happened on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the episode.
Yeah.
No,
just
we've
like-
already,
yeah.
we've already,
Well,
We've
you've
already-
redone it. You've redone it. You didn't do it with me. I mean, it was.
yeah,
fair
but
enough.
that was funny.
It was funny.
So let's
Ooh, shade.
actually go back to what was a Sunday. Which
So I'm just doing the
Honestly-
sound effects, the splashbacking.
waking up nice.
Splashback. Sorry, Sol.
I-
Splashbacking.
Flashbacking. Should have
Flashback.
been
Flash.
flashing
Okay.
back, but, I tried.
How did everyone wake? Can you even remember at this point in time?
I was
at gin
hungover.
club
I was.
the night before, but I was actually fine. I didn't actually indulge too much in the gin, so I was fine.
Yeah, I think I was all right
okay.
actually. I had a very late night. I like one of the last to stumble back to.
Yeah, but
I don't even know what time it was. I did, yeah. I had the Black Skull. Shout out to the Black Skull burritos. Still think about those. Had them by myself. It was great. And I think I was relatively drunk for me, but I was not that bad. I'm getting better at that. But I was fine in the morning. I was still tentative about my my eyes, so I was a bit careful, but I was alright. Slept pretty well.
Yeah, Chris, you looked awful, but not like awful. You just looked like a hungover person. Like I've seen people worse.
Yeah. People, are you implying I'm not a person, or?
Let's table that conversation.
Read what you want.
Oof.
Moving on.
Yeah, it was a late night, and
It was just a late
did not get
bar
much
crawl,
sleep.
right?
well, yeah, late bar crawl, and then I stayed up anyway, just catching up with people. It ended up being like 4 in the morning, I think, before I actually like checked my phone to turn it off to then go to bed. It was like I remember the despair, like the acute sensation of despair, as I realized the sun was basically rising at this point, and yeah, no, probably it was later. I think it was later. It's probably about 5. So yeah, I had about 4 hours sleep.
Good.
Yeah,
Not
it
in a
wasn't
good way.
lot.
Yes.
Time to get
We
into
had burritos
gear.
again in the morning. They were great.
Britters were a saviour. I came over to Lindeer for the classic war paint. That's what I'm there for.
Oh yeah. I still
The
think
reds and blacks.
the red and
I
black.
got to do my. It looks good. It looks really
It
striking.
should be the official black scar because it's just a black, like blackness in the middle of like scar. Like it's.
All right, newbie, calm down.
Chill out, buddy. I was gonna say, what I was gonna say is I do miss the 2 red lines that we as Shattersong had for a couple of events.
That was cool.
From
Yeah.
the longest path onwards. Because I was looking at old pictures and I saw there's a picture of me running through the gate with the 2 lines and it looks amazing.
Mm.
Like it looks really good. I was like, oh, I kind of wish I had that back again.
Yeah, well, maybe Larkin and Farron can take that. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Well,
So
anyway, while Larkin was still alive, we had
You-
burritos in the morning. I got my not new. I got my upgraded kit on and ready. I was feeling
Looking
good
good.
to go. I was feeling great. It was awesome. And then
what I
got
recall,
my-
actually, I will comment.
Uh-huh.
You felt very official in the morning. You were very much getting into the zone, as far as I
I
can
was
tell.
there. I was ready.
what was
So it's
the
like there's the rabble of Black Scar, and then there was the general getting ready.
ouch
Okay.
rude? But what was
It's
the
true. No,
what was the new
was,
kit?
well, it wasn't new kit, but I'd like. So I changed my underlayer top. So I had that long sleeve, sort of really dark wine red top, which was really nice. Which meant that I had a layer underneath my chainmail that was long sleeve, which went under the braces as well. I think the biggest difference, honestly, for the whole thing was just my hair. Like that hairstyle, that up curl in a kind of 30s way, because it came from doing it for the 30s club that we did. Really just made everything look clean and fresh and just a bit fancier.
Oh, nice. Compared to sort of
Yeah.
the old version of having it let down a little bit.
Yeah, or just tied up, but not in the same way. It was really it was kind of, if you think about 1940s army woman kind of idea, it felt more on that level.
Gotcha. And then the
than
older
just
style.
tied up and back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it kind of worked like that. And then I had things I had my tabard over the top, really well buttoned up. I had my sash on top as well this time. The general sash with the Azure Stars patch on it.
General Sash.
General sash.
General sash. So yeah, it was just good. I was feeling ready. I got something bonded by Pod, which was amazing because I was in a real rush to get somewhere. And
Was it the labyrinth?
I was in such a rush. I'm always in a rush in the morning to try and go and do leadership, whatever. But I was in a rush, and Pod was like, "I've got to bond this thing to you. We'd do the ceremony," and I was like, "Yeah, okay. Can you do it quickly? I know we have to go through the people, so I'm metaphorically checking my watch because I actually have to be somewhere, And I was like, yes, okay, obviously, fine. Do it while I'm tying up my bracer or whatever." And he started this amazing spiel of so, when you go out there, you're going to put your left foot in. Put your left foot in. So I put my left foot in. I went, you put your left foot out.
What, of the labyrinth?
What is happening right now? And I just started giggling because he did a whole hokey cokey without ever mentioning the hokey cokey as the bonding ceremony. It's brilliant.
Oh, damn it.
I felt like it really...
You did that with me, actually. When
it was a good zone. Oh, it's nice. It's fun. And it really, it's a nice tone. It was great. And then I ran off and got ready to do battle, essentially.
So, reminder, Black Scar were murking for Navarre.
Yeah. It's one of those...
It was symbolic.
Technically, we were paid for by General Brenos. So, we were there on behalf of him with the specific orders of going through the gate following the orcs. So the orcs were going in first because they always have to. Sorry, that just is true.
They do because they bully. Okay, that's not true either. There's just a precedent of them being at the front. I don't know.
And we're fine with that.
Have they got the most to prove? Is it because their farts are the least potent and that's why we want them in front? I don't get it. Are orc farts more dainty than human farts?
But the reason why it was up for debate is they had their big banner that was supposed to be being protected. So if they were going to get assaulted at the gate immediately, it could have been really spicy. But
we get it. They're all dead.
They're all dead.
Shit.
Fortunately, we're fighting Jotun. They're a little bit less. I'm gonna,
dickish.
Bite your ankles as you come through the portal, and more. Hello, I'm over here making a loud noise. But yeah, so we were basically hopping in, going through the gate, right behind them, front of Navarre, to go and join them in a heavy fought fight.
Wait, before we get inside the gate, did you guys see the egregores opening the
Yes,
the
which
gate
I was going to
with
get
the
to.
front.
Yes.
Kind of running down why we were at the front.
Oh god, it was
But yeah, we were
amazing.
at front row for all of the egregores of all the different nations fighting that day, doing their
Yeah.
spiel.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Especially
good
the
stuff.
orc.
Yeah, there's a severed head
with
in
The
the
orc
bag.
one was amazing. No, it was birds. So he started
What?
telling the story of like I zoned in after about the first sentence, so I don't know what the very first like the opener was, but he was going, there's this family of birds that moved in to my next to my house or whatever. And they annoyed me. I didn't like them, something like that. This is very paraphrased. So what did I do? I captured them, and he was holding this bag and waving it around. And I was like, okay, where's this going? And I can't remember the bridge, but he ended up being like, so I'm going to sacrifice them, I don't know, for this reason. And he just whacked the bag on the floor, grabbed a thing, and started beating the bag. And I was like,
started pouring
oh,
out.
okay.
Yeah.
He picks it up and the blood is pouring. He went, I promised I was not going to do blood magic, but I lied. And then he opened the gate. And that was amazing. That was kind of it. I was there like, I like this guy. This is amazing. And then our egregores opened using a large drum and got this amazing chant of Leathavan going. I think partially by accident, and they just were like, they were going to say stuff, but they just kind of were like, okay, this
Just
is
Leathavan.
enjoy
Where
it.
are we going? Here.
Yeah. And then gate time. Woo.
That's pretty harsh
I
on the
didn't
birds.
actually see what the Wintermark did. I didn't see what Wintermark.
Not a lot.
did.
Yeah, honestly, there's
League
not
did
much to
their,
look for.
League did their what they do like the performances
They
things.
did a
What do
performance. They
call
did
it?
like a whole.
It's called something Mancy. What's it called?
Isn't it dramaturgy? Is there?
Dramaturgy. Yeah,
Yeah.
not Mancy. Turgy.
They
Yeah.
did a whole act, like 3-act piece
Mm-hmm.
in a very short space of time. It was
Yeah.
very cool.
It was pretty impressive.
Yeah. Speed
I
theatre.
necked a Sovereign's. No, not Sovereign specific. Iron Blood Tonic, which I actually haven't done at Anvil yet because I'm
Oh,
too.
really?
Yeah, I'm too poor.
Oh,
I'm
sorry, I don't-
love Iron Bloods.
Don't do anything. So I was the most buffed I've ever been, and the most neutral I've ever
Swole.
been.
Yeah. Oh, I also got to watch Tadpole Streamwalker walk up to Brenos and I and go, I said I'd do this, pull out a chaos fruit, neck it, and then spend the next few minutes looking at the mechanical effects and sort of slowly chuckling to himself while we kind of watched and waited to see if he'd just keel over dead.
Nice.
He did not keel over dead. So no harm, no foul. It was very amusing.
Oh, damn,
Nice.
that's twice, in because he did it on the Friday, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Boys
Yep.
living the crazy near-death
Seems legit.
lifestyle. Did that perhaps inspire you or make you jealous of a high-risk existence, Blair?
Very funny.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
Right.
roll the dice every time I go out and battle. But
Well,
I was also
that
drinking
was
because I
the
had
thing.
Iron Blood tonic and everything. I'm
Hellick
chunky.
did this piece about
Oh,
the ash and the bone and
Do you choose death?
basically when you go through the gate you choose death.
Yeah.
And some of us very much did.
Are you ready to? Are you ready to? Well, the irony is, yeah. So a few things cropped up on this morning that were sort of prophetic or fateful in some way. Yeah, Helax thing was one of them. But before that, I managed to catch Viviane de Cordofa, who is the current Cardinal of Ambition, who exactly a year ago I had spoken to about my ambitions as a character to, be important and do cool things and, maybe get an army, possibly. And she was like, yeah, go and do that. That sounds awesome. So I said, hey, I didn't have much time to talk. I don't know her super well. And she's a Naga and she's what, Nagas can be a bit like starey and quiet. And I was like, I'm just going to have a quick chat here because you're very intimidating and very cool. But all I was saying was, it's been a year. It's been a year since that conversation. Look what I've done. Like, look at me, look at what I did. Cardinal of Ambition, am I ambitious enough now? And she went, that's amazing. What are you going to do next? And I think I just remember going like,
Just
I
croaking.
guess we'll have to wait and see, I guess we'll, that remains to be seen.
Got called out. No more ambition. Time to go.
Yeah, I was like, well, I guess I'm peaked. Yeah, good point. Um, no, because it was cool. Anyway, and then I ran off, and then Helek did the most amazing pre-battle speech. Kit, you smashed it as always. But yeah, it was really cool. You know, do you choose death when you go out? Do you choose death? And we were all like, yes, and I was like, yes.
I think that was the
And
first
again,
time
it became very fateful.
lot of people had heard that. Obviously, a
So
lot of
good.
us in Black Scar had always been chatting with Kit,
Yeah, it's
like David
something that's
behind the scenes about stuff. That
yeah.
get.
A couple of very cool long-time players in Navarre have come up with some fun new ideas to put into play to, I don't know what I guess, boost some,
Yeah.
just amplify those vibes.
Mm.
Yes.
It felt a bit more
In a
Navari
way
for
that
once,
feels,
you know.
yeah, that feel less like random, but also less like regular soldiery, and more like this is a thing. This
Yeah.
is something cultural. This is something meaningful. Which was really nice. So that was awesome. And then battle time, I guess.
I don't know about you. I always am super nervous before a main battle, in particular. Actually, like skirmishes are scary, but you also know that if it all goes tits up, you can just sprint back through that gate. Battle, you can't really do that. It's
Yeah.
you're
That's
on there
true.
with the rest
Yeah,
of the crew.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
It feels more pressing because you're looking at the people around you. You know, you're spending that extra 20 minutes at the gate, warming, waiting and waiting, and it's that build up that is just
Yeah,
either, and especially
hurry
in
up
Black
and
Star, that
wait.
whole thing of like you know who you're fighting by, you know who you're trying to get back, you know, watching each other's backs, but you're looking around, you're going, this could be the last time I see you.
Oof.
And ironically, I didn't see Larkin apart from right
Oh,
at
yeah.
the tent when you were busy rushing off. I was not stressed at all. I have been in the past, but I wasn't. You were on
But
top.
I suppose, yeah, that's the thing. I mechanically, I could take a lot of hits. Mechanically, I was stacked to the brim with potions and herbs and all that stuff. Also, I have lots of people who take a lot of very good care of me. Like, there are people out there. I mean, lovely Matt who played. Sorry, ooh,
F.
Quinn.
F.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Genuine F. Respectful F.
Was always, you know, I mean, and for the entirety of this battle as well,
Yeah.
always like watching out and popping up and giving me heals and dragging me back. He was like my honestly little personal bodyguard. It was amazing, and made a huge difference. And it was a nice sort of icy like bond as well to have that. And you know, when you are quote unquote, it sounds very big headed, important, people do look out for you a bit more. So I had that kind of fallback of, okay, if I go down, there's probably at least a few people around who know who I am and will go, let's go get the general. You know, it's not, oh, someone's dying.
And
That's
you
bad,
are
but
very much part of Black Scar, but you do not fight with us. So
yeah,
when we're there, we are concerned about the people who are fighting with us, and we all, you know, we've already know this. You know that.
yep,
But obviously, if we see you
absolutely.
down, we're going to get you fucking back up. The problem
Yeah.
is you went down and
You and there, yeah.
we weren't there. But not because we weren't there for you. It's
No,
because
but you physically just were not in that area.
It's not edgy. We
talk
literally
about
just
that
weren't
when
there.
we get there. But basically, we thought you were fine. Is essentially
Everyone did, yeah. No,
We
this
just
was a
don't-
very unique circumstance, and
Yeah.
later on in talking about the battle, I might drop a few hints about some of the things, and then leave the rest for inevitable next event stuff. But
So,
you guys went off to the left, and I
I'm
ran off
gonna-
to the
I'm gonna
right.
pass it
Whoa.
over
I've,
to Banner Bearer,
yeah.
Lindy.
I haven't got through the gate, guys. Like, I'm still at my tent. You guys are charging off full of drugs, and I'm like, wow,
Just before we get
I'm
to
really,
my
really fucking
death.
hungover. I've just felt real OC death, and it's crawled its way inside my belly. No, I was alright. I got a flag. I actually got to hold the Black Scar banner, which I've been like simping after for like the best part of a year, because it's a cool big flag, and it's almost like the stars in an Urizen way aligned, because the hangover made it difficult to run, and running and combat, it's not fun when you've got a hangover. But holding a flag and standing still at the back of the line, now that's something I could do.
Yeah, we did not do a lot of running, but my god, did we do a lot of fighting.
Oh yes,
Oh
we
my
did.
god.
Yeah, and the flag gave me a
Sounded
fantastic,
intense.
fantastic viewpoint of that. But I digress. The last time I saw Larkin was I asked her to help me do my bracer. She said
Oh, was
no.
that morning?
Yeah, she was like, I'm busy, and I was like, oh, dude, please.
I was okay. I
You
had
tied
to
a
leg
single
it
knot.
back to campsite to grab something and then run back to the front. At which point, Chris, this was out of character for sure, turns to me with these mournful eyes and goes, "Can you just?" And I was like, "I can't. There are other people right here. Ask them." And you went, "Oh," in such a sad way that I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Yeah, because at that point I was like, Matty, please. I've done
I
8 sets
know,
of
and
face
I was
paint.
literally
And
like,
I'm
I am
exhausted.
actually need to be like somewhere 5 minutes ago. I really cut that, and in the end, I managed, and then I legged it, trying to do what I needed to do, while I was running. So I was just like, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was the last time I saw you guys.
reluctant
No,
side.
actually, the last time I saw you guys was when you were all running past me to go into the gate.
running?
And
I'm
then-
sorry. Do not
No,
say
well,
running.
sorry. Okay, ambling then. But then there were loads of people in front of me, and we were going.
Come on.
No one should be in front of the leaders apart from Black
Are we,
Sky.
are we
There were
jumping
all these
straight to the end
people-
again?
Yeah, should we go? Do you
No.
want to go, Larkin? Yeah, come on.
No, I'll
See
go,
you join us.
Larkin.
Yeah.
I've been trying to, again, shoehorn us into an actual battle conversation, and we're going straight back to the end again.
All right, guys, we need to wind.
Useless.
We need to wind. Oh fuck! We need to wind back our necks, back to the little turtle bodies. The
Yeah,
three
you know what I'm
Teenage
talking
Mutant
about?
Ninja
I'm
Turtles.
talking about when you went through the gate, not when you came back from the gate.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes, thank
No,
you.
we were running then.
Yeah, yeah. So I got to the gate with a flag. Change scene.
All I was saying is that it was really weird that we were calling for people who weren't Black Scar to get behind us, so that it was Black Scar in front, and then we knew where the beginning of the line was. And then those are people that I didn't recognize who were going, "Oh, I'm supposed to be with Black Scar," and I was like, "What? Okay,
Yeah.
I guess. I
So
don't know enough to say no, but I
What
was like, who are all these
happens
people?"
at the main battles is we do have a crew of Navari who don't necessarily fight with us, who fight with us on the main battle. But there
You
are
must have
some.
recruited these like right in that morning.
No, sorry, not all of these people we end up recruiting. So what ends up happening is a lot of people get assigned to us, and a lot of those are ones who have fought with us before, and they will just come and fight with us. Maddox one, who we love fighting with, he's always fought with us for the last however many events. But
Yeah,
he's
hasn't he,
very-
Lindeer?
Oh, okay, right. I'm sorry. So sorry, Maddox. I'm genuinely sorry. For context, everyone else, I turned around to Maddox, who was like, once I saw the player, I was like, oh yeah, I get it. But the name didn't make any difference. Like I didn't understand it. And Maddox has been playing for like fucking years, and has a Draugr, right? Draugr character.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't know if this is it's a lack of vigilance, but I'd
just
seen
the
Maddox when I first started LARPing like 7 years ago, rocking this fucking awesome, like I'm gonna say edgy, but I mean it in a genuine like cool, like Aragon
Yes,
edgy
good
way.
edge.
Good edge, good edge. Kind of like Navari, Draugr, rangery type vibe. Very
Yeah.
cool. And then I didn't see them for like 2 years, so I thought it was another character. And
Very
then
Strider, but wants to suck your blood. You know.
The funny
Yeah.
thing is, he's also been my adjutant for a year.
well, Larkin, if you
and
spent more
yes,
time with us, maybe I'd have met him. Maybe.
that goes both
Just-
ways.
If you'd
Just
gone to
maybe.
military council, then maybe you would have met him.
If I
Yeah,
like
he, as you pointed out, he's fought with Black Scar most
And
times.
he's fought with Black Scar for like the last year and a bit.
Look, guys, I'm fighting a
You-
losing battle here, but what I'm going to do is not turn around and run. I'm going to continue to dig my trench. And anyway, I turned to Maddox. This was for a skirmish. Oh, no, it wasn't. This was the main battle. And blah, blah, blah. Black Scar at the front. And I looked him dead in the eye and said, "You're not part of Black Scar. Get to the back." And then the Romers chip in, like, "Oh, he actually is." And I was like, "I'm sorry." And then yeah, we haven't talked since. So
But yeah, there's a
yeah,
few others who tend to tag along, and it's either our healer blob, as it were. I'm not going to call them. Oh, they're just
the
gonna. Oh,
vines.
they're gonna be really angry at me for saying that. That's not true. The healers in Blackscar are sometimes recruit extras because we're low on numbers, and other
Yeah.
people get sent our way because they're like, "You'll be good with fighting with Blackscar. Like, we need a couple more numbers with that block. Stick with Blackscar,
Yeah.
you'll be fine." Kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So we do end up fighting with a couple of extras.
Which has quite often ended up really well for Black Scar. It does usually help.
Yeah,
And-
someone
and-
needs to die, not
Yeah.
us.
No, that's not true. That's nothing. It's
Hey,
not that.
recruits are here to die. You should know that from your XCOM
Or
play.
the banner bearer.
Sorry, Banner Bearer's not die. Colour Sergeant Lindir Thornheart is not dead. Colour
Yeah.
Sergeant Lindir Thornheart likes to yell. You can't hurt someone for yelling.
So, sorry, Matty.
Not dead yet.
You saw Black Scar running out of the gate. You were showing these randoms in towards us. Black Scar over there, right direction, and we're supposed to take this fort with the orcs. So the orcs have a warband, and they've got their banner that they're protecting. Black
Yeah.
Scar have got their warband and the banner that they're riled up for and around.
Yeah.
And we smash this gate for the next 40 minutes, get absolutely nowhere. But that's not for a lack of trying and effort.
And that's not for a lack of success. Because you
and
did a vital
helped.
thing, as has been
We helped
pointed out, yeah. You
Um,
kept possibly the 100? We think it was the 100 in there?
Unsure. Some people were saying 100, others were
I
saying
suspect it
Dawn.
was because I think like the majority of the other forces that I faced for most of the battle were predominantly Yagara. So I think you probably had more of the
Orc
crew
country,
NPC
which
orc
is
peeps.
probably true, yeah. Absolutely brutal. Honestly, some of the most tightly packed, brutal fighting I think I've done. Yeah, Empire.
Yeah, full
It
stop.
was-
Yeah.
It was rough. I mean, not without its OC injuries as well. Nothing bad, but
Oh, no, we had a concussion.
we had a concussion.
Yeah.
It's
From a
quite
hammer,
bad.
literal hammer blow to the head. And
Yeah, there was some unsafe moments,
The
but it was
interesting
also
moment
incredibly
was we
awesome.
we were taking lots of injuries, but they weren't in character. We were genuinely running out of people towards the end of the first 40 minutes because we lost 5 out of our number to OC injuries.
Yeah.
Which wasn't great.
just head blows. All of them are head blows. I think, did Aaron's glasses shatter on impact?
Aaron's glasses shattered on impact.
That's
Someone got
fucked,
hit in the
man.
eye. You also got hit in the eye, but that was the day before. Someone got hit on the head. Another person got hit on the head. Yeah, it was all face and like head blows.
Yeah.
There was the
not great.
incredibly bad nut shot as well.
Yes, there was that one
Yeah.
too. Either way, I didn't do all of the fighting at the front. I'm not a shieldy boy. I did my parts, but I was just basically going around the side trying to make something happen, and it was tough. Meanwhile, Chris, I'm gonna give a big ups to you, Lindir.
But not Chris.
Chancing away at the back. Heave ho!
Oh yeah, I had our step call of like step. You might hear that on the battle lines of the Empire. Unfortunately, yelling it for 45 minutes is difficult. So between Tadpole, Lottie, and Lindir, we had a little chant going. So Lottie would yell step, Lindir would go 2, 3, 4, and then a step, and then it just got louder and louder and louder.
Yeah, but you were throwing in the
I
ad
love
libs.
that.
You
I love
were,
that.
come on, Black Skull, not backing off now.
Yeah,
and all-
I mean, as anyone who's ever
General
watched Lord of the
morale
Rings knows, like some of the best cohesion and atmosphere comes from when you can really clearly hear those big chanted calls.
Like
And it's
Saruman.
awesome. Yeah, like big war calls. It's cool, and also it does help because people respond to that really instinctively.
I genuinely do not think we would have held for as long as we did if we didn't have you actually keeping the morale up in a sense.
Oh, big heart react on this audio.
No, like genuinely, I don't.
It was fucking rough. There was a couple times where some of the randoms would fall out, and I don't have the ability to heal people, but I basically got them on their knees, and I reminded them of it. The vibe for the day was reminding people why they fight and why they're here, because it was the Abaddon, right? It was literally our
Yeah.
homeland, and the idea was that your lives are inconsequential to the victory that we will buy with them. Your currency is to be spent but not wasted, and that kind of
Ooh,
vibe.
I like that line.
Yeah, our generals have sent you here to
Very
retake
crisp.
land that your children will live on, even if you don't. And getting people to basically go berserk and try and throw themselves,
Flesh and
because
bone.
the only way, the fucking only way we were gaining ground was to step into spears. So the number of times like front rankers like Keelan, sorry, Jockle and Damon and what is New Sparkles called again? I've forgotten.
Cool win.
Cool win.
Corwin, thank you. Yeah, Corwin going in like heavy chain clank,
And
coming
shit.
out the other end. Yeah, and just getting
I
absolutely
spent a
stomped.
load of that fight after realizing I couldn't do too much on that one. Basically, using my spare hands to grab the people behind and like tapping people out. So what I did a lot of this time was frontliners who I'd seen taking a load of hits. I was like, "Do you want to do you want to rally out?" And I'd fill their spot for a second and then get someone to fill my spot. And I did a lot of that, just trying to like
Good, yeah.
cycle through the troops because I was seeing people both just getting OC tired and IC hurt. So it was kind of trying to get those rotations working. And then after about 20 minutes, I saw I wasn't really achieving much here. Tried to make something happen on the left flank. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get the squad of
Couldn't get the stuff.
other competent people
God,
to
yeah.
do an efficient push on the left. Because what there was a really nasty ditch, and we were basically having to charge over a ditch and then up into the fort. And there were only like
There was so many
eight
ditches
orcs.
around.
There were only like
It
8
was a
orcs
nightmare.
there in a single file line, but I could only get about 8 people, of which 4 would go forward, of which one other person would move with me. And it's like, I can't do anything here. This is futile. So I did kind of try and rally up a couple of pushes, because basically, if we'd broken that line even a bit to make them stress out, what I was watching, and I was trying to time it at the same time as the main Black Scar line, which is basically at right angles to this one. That had done that, it would have scared the orcs a little bit, you'd hope, pull them across, and maybe, just maybe, you would have been able to push into it and wrap that fort, even just for a second,
Yeah, talking about
In
trying
many
different.
ways, I think that would have been worse for us because then they'd have turned around and run into our lines. So thank you.
The talking of,
I don't know how they would have.
they'd be dead, or
They would
be
have been
dead.
dead. Because
Yeah,
the...
no, but the respawn would have come back somewhere else.
Stop talking OC. We
Yeah.
would take that fort.
Sorry, that's not relevant to the tactic.
But yeah, so it was just a brutal fight. I'm sure I can come back to this in a bit, but I would actually like to ask Larkin, what were you up to? Because this isn't the scary
running.
bit. Where were
I was
you?
running around a lot.
What was happening elsewhere?
Oh man, so Helak and I went in at the front with Quinn, and Navarre was so slow behind us. It didn't help that because of that sort of walk through from the main gate to the actual entrance, everyone was kind of ambling. So you guys tore off, and then there was like the 3 of us at the front jogging forwards, and then a gap of probably about 20 meters behind which, the forces were starting to trickle in. There was maybe 1 or 2 people that were like behind us. That's it. It was unbelievable. And we could see the Regio straight away. And we were like, okay, we can see all the forces as well. But the Regio is currently not held. It's going to be a fucking nightmare of a battle if we leave the Regio, form up, and then try and take it. We're never going to have a chance. And Helak just was like, right, I'm going forward, and ran forward and stood there and was like, cool. So I ran up beside him because I'm like, what? Let's not just have one person, you will die instantly. And of course, all the Orc forces started mobilizing towards us. So we were like, ah! They start hitting us from the side as you guys were engaging. They kind of wheeled around from both sides. It was really looking like, okay, everyone's going to go down. And the first little pocket of Navarre that actually made it instantly went down. Well, we got absolutely run over. I genuinely don't know how I can't remember how I survived that. I think Quinn probably saved me. add that to the tally. But then, you know, people started trickling in, and so we were able to push, which is when which apparently someone's actually remembered, which is really sweet. Ran a push forwards just to try and get up some of the people that had gone down in that first wave. And also that would have got us close to the Regio, because they'd already moved over the Regio by that point, which was fucking... I was so annoyed in the moment. But yeah, I think the League were coming in behind us, Wintermark were coming in behind us. I had already completely lost track of everything that was happening on the left, because there was that big sort of bit of bushes and trees that blocked everything that was happening on that side, so we couldn't really see anything. And I was getting reports, and I was just going, I just hope you guys have got it. You guys, you know what you need to do. You know, good luck. There's nothing more I can do. I have about 30 people here at this point, and I need them all. And eventually we did. We just got some people up. There just seemed to be more and more Imperials until they weren't. And then for the rest of the battle, it was just pushing up to the Regio, and it was pushes and pushes and pushes. And it was what I think everyone gets really confused, to go on a small tangent of, we talk about line fighting, right? We don't want to end up in a line fight. It's like something that I hear all the time. The problem is there's a massive distinction between a Wintermark shield wall standoff line fight, and I'm defending a thing, so I'm gonna essentially fight
in a line
and stand in a line. Yeah, but you're still fighting. You just happen to be doing it in a line. Like you guys on the edge of the fort, I assume, were probably making quite a line. You weren't skirmishing, running around each other. You know, it's not.
When they say we want to avoid a line fight, what it actually means is standing stationary and just trying to take them down. As long as you've got some sort of momentum, you're fine.
Yeah, and if you are holding, if your whole job is to hold something, then I'm sorry, but you do at some point have to stand in a line and try and field some blows. That is just a fucking fact of life.
A fact of defensive warfare.
Yeah, exactly.
That's less a line fight at that point.
But that's what everyone goes, oh, I'm in a line fight, I don't want to do this.
Okay. No.
It's a conceptual thing when it comes to building the tactics.
So
there were some people that were a bit annoyed about
fully defending. You're fully defending. You're not actually necessarily trying to kill the enemy, unless that is a strategic option in order to defend the objective.
And that happens sometimes, and that obviously was going to happen when the objective was to hold the Regio. But like you guys, we had these lines of this sort of, we had the front line, the bit where everyone was engaging, the line of engagement. Let's call it that. Sounds better. The line of engagement. And that was moving forwards and backwards around the Regio once we finally got it. And it was at times spread super thin, like crazy thin. Like I, at one point, was standing with no one, probably a good 3 meters on either side of me. There was no one there.
Oof,
and that was true of, it was unbelievable. And there was like, Quinn and Derek, the Stabbrigor, and Helak. So like we were all literally spread out, like kind of looking at each other like, where is everyone? Like, this is dire. We are only a few steps in front of the Regio, and they are desperately getting that ritual going. Like, we have got to defend this no matter what. And to be fair, the atmosphere was incredible. Absolutely incredible. It felt desperate. It felt intense. It felt like, everyone was shouting at everyone. Everyone was frustrated. And I think goes back to some of the numbers things, but I'm pretty sure that the reason why everyone was constantly going, we need reinforcement, where are the reinforcements? Because there just wasn't enough people.
Yeah, there was a number of times that a couple of runners, I think, had come over to Black Scar yelling, no, we need Navarre, we need you over here. And we were just like,
no.
Nah.
Yeah. And I genuinely, I think we were probably, there's normally at least like somewhere in the realm of 50 people that kind of float around and can be used to reinforce at any point.
Yeah.
Right. And that just wasn't there. And it was quite desperate. But
there
it
might be a reason
it was cool,
for that.
Desperate. It was tough. Yeah, I think we covered.
We discussed it last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
No, I was actually going to say how
non-coms.
No, no, I've a totally different point actually. No about that.
Ooh.
It's no, so this is before the rats start to flee the burning ship. This is when we're at the fort. We get a little break, and there's no, even before that, there's actually a small Navari contingent, maybe about 20 in total, floating around. We've got a couple randoms, but they're also attacking the ditch, as Sol mentioned. But then, as we take a break from the gate, another Navari contingent of maybe 15 turns up. So you probably had 35 frontline-ish Navar actually fighting at the fort into the, let's call it the second, uh, the second third of the battle.
We
Yeah, the
did
thing is,
have
I think those had probably also been on our front as well.
Yeah, and they'd left and come to us. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and then Wintermark had come over. Like it did move a lot. The only ones I never saw any hide nor hair of was the League, and I think they ended up on the far right because I didn't go that far over. But oh god, the ritual was amazing. They were doing the ritual. There was sound. There were points. I think people have said this already, where we were literally. I was backing into the stones of the Reggio, being like, we have to fucking push this, or and that means, and I'm looking around at people thinking that means people are about to go down. We're going to have to push forwards and people are going to die. And that's the only alternative we have right now. We don't have another option because if we don't do this ritual, the entire purpose of coming here was wasted.
Mm-hmm.
And that, from my perspective as a general, meant that the whole purpose of coming here and doing the long term campaign was then wasted. Like, we'd made lots of agreements and plans based on this one success.
Yeah.
So I was just screaming. There were some OC people that I was like, that got a bit arsey that I was really not that pleased about, but that's kind of a slightly separate issue. And then, yeah, I mean, it was just, I mean, they were like, yeah, 10 minutes, you've got to hold it for 10 minutes. And every time
10 minutes is a
Quinn and I
long
were like,
time.
you've got to hold it for 10 minutes, 8 more minutes. And I was just, we were all looking at each other with this completely shared sense of, this is really down to the wire. Like, this is fucked. Are we going to make it? We really genuinely do not know if we've got enough to just pull out of the bag at this point. And then, the news that they'd made it, I have, honestly, at that point, I was like, I, on an OC and an IC level, just want to leg it. just want to be like, everyone just go. Please, this is the worst.
So I think it was actually
way.
around it was, well, no, we heard that news a lot later. We'd held that
because they started on a second ritual as well, so you probably didn't hear it.
We only heard it once the second one had completed. So we held that fort for like 40 minutes, and then we went on our break, because I don't know if you know this, but it's physically impossible for a human being to continue fighting at the level we were. Not human being, a larper.
Imperial hero.
An Imperial hero. But no, the average person should not be fighting for... It's a strenuous activity for more than that. You just can't do it without water or a breather. So we rolled out. We got some people to fill the spot for a second to take a quick 5-minute break. So we'd taken our 5-minute deserved break, and it was at that point I think we had about 3 people come over to us and go, Navar, we need you over here. Navar, we need you over here. And it's just like, oh my god.
What was the line? It was like, stop being cowards and get stuck in.
Oh, I'll get to him.
Ooh,
He was funny. No, one was like, Navar over here, and then I'm talking
very shortly. This is a teaching and learning point for anyone out there. If you see that anyone might be not doing what you think they're doing, and you're about to get angry, maybe think that you probably don't have the whole picture.
Yeah,
no, that requires too much common sense.
This happened quite a bit at this next section, which is why I was going to bring it up.
That's not a skill they have stats in.
So someone came over to us. We were having a quick break. We were also having a think about what we needed to do, because essentially we were faced with this fort problem because realistically our objective was to take the fort.
Yeah.
So that was what we were still trying to do. Even, hold was the main thing, but take the fort was the objective. So we were still thinking around our tactics of how we could do this. We had people on the left flank, as I said, with that. There was a bridge and a ditch and holes and whatnot. And we were just trying to think of, can we manage to get like some kind of wrap going, whatnot. Anyways, the guy comes up to Lothy and talks, what I can't even remember, have the courage or the wisdom to, I can't even remember what it was. He picked a virtue, said something about it to Lothy, like locking heads of like it'd be basically virtuous to die this day. And Lothy looks back at him. Sorry, if you don't know who Lothy is, he's our big brand. He's
Yeah,
he's
in
Black Scar's
charge of
leader.
Black Scar.
He knows what he's doing on the battlefield.
He also
And
makes good calls and has a calm head, which is unusual.
He turned
for
to
Black
us
Scar.
and just went, "Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot this was my first time on the battlefield."
Oh, he does get some great snarkastic. That's
Nah,
a word.
no,
now,
we're keeping that.
comments.
That's good.
Yeah. And like props to the person who's really getting into the role play and really getting, there. But there is a level of hard skill of understanding what's going on here that, they might have not had the whole picture there. So we knew that entire flank was basically nothing. And he charges in there with a couple of other Navari.
Oh my god. Nah, can we please? Can I cover that in more detail? Is this the ditch charge?
Yeah, this is the ditch charge. You can cover that one if you want.
Beautiful. So like I think on the to be fair, I like to be fair with any criticism. This player was pretty new. I think first or second event.
I think it's his second event. He was having an absolute blast. Like, don't get me wrong, the energy levels and the enthusiasm were there. Yeah. He looked
OC,
the part.
wicked. Yeah, good kit, good attitude, good like urge to kill rising vibes. OC very very cool, but IC it was just great for like I can just imagine the inner workings of his head, like, oh, this unit looks mean. I'm going to go inspire them to greatness, and giving them a great, powerful speech, inspiring them to charge across the ditch. And they just, all these surly veterans turn around and just go, fuck off. Like, what that does to a character, just fuck off. Like, fuck, gee, look at me. Fuck off, kind of. I remember Jockle just going, shut the fuck up.
And you've got to remember, this is Black Scar, whose one rule of the battlefield is, what do we say to the field marshal?
Fuck off, field marshal.
Fuck off.
Yeah, respect ops. We're never doing the standard objective. It's always something else.
Yeah.
But the ditch charge. So after this, let's say this perhaps noble speech that fell on deaf ears. He was like, "Come on, then, you cowards! If you don't want to get stuck in, I'll show you how." And at this point, there's enough, let's call them chaff Navar, just scattered around the place that rally to his cry. About 4 of them go across the ditch. And then, about 6 try. A couple get bogged down in this thing because it basically is like the Somme. It's like muddy and it's probably about 1.5 meters in depth. It's a decent obstacle. They slowly trudge up the other side of this ditch to get into hand-to-hand with the orcs. At which point the running side of the charge has turned into a slow walk in speed. And then the orcs proceed to panel beat the orcs proceed to beat the fuck out of them within
this
about
is the
30
8
seconds.
orcs that we trying to get through before. So it was 8v4. There was 2 on 1. And at that point, I watched this and they're kind of just waving their swords at each other for a bit. And I turned to Silk, and Farron is, I don't know if you know this, going wisdom. From ambition to wisdom. For reasons. But Silk was there, and Silk's champion of wisdom. And it's the one I've been talking to this event, as I said. I turned to Silk on the battlefield and go, lack of wisdom, that one. And he went, oh, you're learning then, Farron, you're learning.
Love it, yeah. That's a teaching moment.
And then there was
thrown back
another
with gusto by the angry orcs.
fairly new person because they stood there for a little bit, just kind of waving their swords. Like a good 5 minutes. Just because the orcs weren't going to push because they had the fort and they weren't close enough or posing any sort of threat to them.
Probably thought
they
it was a
needed
trap.
to take them down.
They probably thought it was bait because they've just seen us take like a coherent and sustained effort to fuck them up, and then that same unit, us, is sat there watching as 5 skirmishers basically fiddle with their swords. And they must have been sat there like, there's no way they're this incompetent. This is a trap. And
we were all like,
they were probably taking their own chance to have a little break, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, they were very well rested.
We were standing in our blob, basically trying to discuss, is there anything we can do here while that was happening on the background? Some other Navari woman comes over and is like, can you not see? They're outnumbered 2-1. Like, what are you doing here? Get in there. And I literally turned to her and went, look, sorry, they're not doing anything. Those orcs aren't going to push out. They're doing nothing.
Fine.
They're just standing there waving their swords. It's fine. We're okay here. And she literally just turned around and went, oh, all right then. cool, I'm off. Went completely other direction. I was like, oh, cool, that's a learning moment.
She just
There we
wanted
go.
to make sure that like they were being well babysat, and they were.
So for all of those moments, it's beautiful. Not only because we got some very enthusiastic new Navari players, which is excellent, but we also, I think it brought, I don't know, a sense of competence to us. Like it's nice when you have a reaffirming thing of being able to make a call and hope it's the right one. You know, like there's almost like a reflection there of, oh, we have done this for long enough that we kind of know what we're doing ish. Maybe.
Yeah, it's nice to
Sort
not
of.
because you
Even if we
can't ride
don't.
on
Even if we
reputation
don't.
forever, right? You've got to be able to back it up with something. So it's nice to occasionally actually be like, yeah,
But yeah,
we can do this.
At that point, we basically had given up on that fort. It had been held long enough. Not as, you know, people were still holding it. So we.
It was objective failed for us, technically. We did not
Technically,
crack
yeah.
the fort. And man, we haven't mentioned it yet, but in the fort, the rotating block of bills,
Oh yeah.
which made this.
That's what really did it.
Yeah.
What?
So for the people listening at home, and clearly Matty at this point,
Yeah.
so there was 3 entrances to the
Well,
fort.
don't forget, I didn't get the post-battle briefing. Now, did I?
Whose fault was
why?
that?
I said I didn't get the post-battle briefing,
Yeah,
so
but
I don't
whose
know
fault
some
is that?
things. Oh, I thought you said what was that?
Oh no, whose fault?
The orcs,
It's
the
a,
Jotun.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, technically yes. But so the fort is a fort, and it's got a limited number of doorways. A couple of main gates, one other gate-sized entrance, but with a ditch between you and them, which is where Captain Hardhead went into, and then a small little bridge that has like a tiny mini entrance at the back. It's like 2 people wide. Very hard to storm, but very cool. Now, each entrance had a block of orcs there that a couple of times we were close to breaking. And in fact, at one point we did. We sent them packing. But in came the block of surprisingly recognizable Yagara marchers, and with their bills and their halberds, and this floating block of about 15 which sat inside the fort. So any time the orcs themselves got tired, they would just come in and batter down the scattered survivors of the Empire pushing through and beat us back to stage 1.
Jeez.
So it's not that we had to get through one layer of orcs where, like, you know, the standard Black Scar, like, let's say back in the old days of Bangrang, right? We're not going to tell you, dear listeners, what our new call is. But the idea is when we charge, we don't stop. The front rank of chargers doesn't stop on the enemy front rank. You push past, so that allows you to actually break a line. We probably go down because we engage the second and third ranks and we get cut on the way in. But our friends beat the shit out of everybody else behind us. Now, we tried that a couple of times and we got through the first round of orcs, but then #second wave got broken on the shore by the Yagaras and their bills, and it was absolutely savage. And they were so
Bills
fresh.
are a nightmare. Like,
Yeah.
they are so hard to break.
They kept rolling in every now and then, and also there was a respawn point in the back of the fort.
Oh yeah, subtle thing. They could respawn. So we had to have a 4-way coordinated and successful push to take that fort. Is
yeah,
what we
which
need.
would have taken an entire nation, really.
We gave it a bloody good go.
We gave it a good go. Yeah.
We gave it a
I'm
bloody
sure you
good go.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eight more men who would charge down that left flank, and I reckon we'd have it.
Yeah.
Or have a good stab at it, you know.
Yeah. 8 more
Stab
angry
being the
ambies.
operative word.
Yeah.
LARP safety.
Yeah, or like a good mass shatter or something.
Oh,
That's
tell
what
you,
it
yeah,
was.
mass repel would have blown those doors open.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we're very fighty and not very magey. Until next event.
That
Um,
sounds like we have a bomb,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
yeah.
Got a
So
mage
yeah,
powered IED.
we
So I'm re-rolling as a bomb.
we rolled in over to the bit central, and honestly, this is one
That
of
was the
my
last time I saw you.
this was one of my other highlights of the entirety of E1, and it was we just redeployed. And I went, and Lottie was there, I was there, and I went, Lottie, let's go up here, push this line. So we form the line. We see the orc line in front of us, and I just start going right. We keep moving up, and Silk is on the other side of like this branch. Okay, so there's like branches and brambles that kind of cuts us in half, so we can't have the full line. We have to split into 2 lines, which is there's a lot of coordination that goes on here. So I was on the rightmost point of the left side, and Silk was on the leftmost point of the right hand side. And we're pushing up, and there's a line of orcs, and I went, "We can do this. We can do this. Step, step." I yell step, Chris continues. Or, sorry, Lindir echoes
2,
it.
3, 4.
Gets that moving. There's this moment where I yell to Silk, because I see them falling behind. I go, "Silk, push up with your lot and join us at the end here." And he does. And it was so beautiful, because as that line just formed around that blocking, we got the full line, wrapped them, and absolutely slaughtered the entire line. Like, full-on break.
Yeah.
Down.
That's beautiful.
On the floor. It was beautiful. It was, last thing was a bangarang to finish it off. But they were floored, and it was so satisfying to actually watch a line push, break, and murder.
Yeah, it wasn't like we pushed them back and we caught some of them. We pushed them back, caught some. The ones who went down, we left them to the people behind us.
Yeah,
these guys pushed up, did it again, then pushed up again, and got the remnants, like a whole 50 orcs.
Do you remember the push at E4 when we went straight up that field and we went and we kept going forwards and we just never took a step back?
Well, you see, there was
beautiful about
the difference. The difference about that one is we weren't fighting with all Black Scar and we overextended. The thing with this one is everyone went with us, and it was the most satisfying, like genuine single maneuver of a battle at LARP I think I've ever had.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, but the Otyns pushed their willies through the glory hole, and there was a bear trap on the other side, and it shut with gusto.
To be fair,
turn of phrase.
We kept pushing that line as well. We actually got one more like route from them before the end, which was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Silk for shouting that second line. I think he came to me afterwards. It's been way too long. And mentioned like it was one of the coolest moments, him actually feeling competent on the battlefield. So absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Love you, Silk.
And just seeing them mop up basically Black Scar on their hands and knees ripping off ears and shit like that. It was like watching a zombie apocalypse film. And I was sat there with my banner like, fuck, they've lost it. The blood rages upon them. It's gone. Like all sense of order had gone. It was just death. But like all their casualties.
I think at that point, because we met back up with Sinwin and Clay and Riflin, who had all been part of the ritual team, so we knew something had happened and they informed us it had all gone well. Woo!
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 There's a few more bits and then a retreat. So I don't know if Larkin's got anything left to say.
I'm trying to think. I mean, it was just grueling. It was just constant. That's it. And then I heard. I mean, I guess. Can I take us onwards? I guess at this point.
Well, can I say one more bit before the retreat? Because I think the retreat is a big section. Nice friend of a lot of us in Black Scar, prominent person. Oh my god, why my mind's just gone blank.
Is it Maddox? Because that happened to me as well.
What does Becca play? Rivardi.
Rivardi.
Oh my god, I bumped into Rivardi, and I've bumped into Rivardi a couple of times on the battlefield. This was the second time though, and they'd come over to me and we're just talking about, because they'd basically gone down at some point, and they came over to me, and I was talking to them, just middle battlefield, having a thorn to thorn, as I put it, about, talking about, really shook up because they were so close to death, like genuinely seconds, all of that. And I repeated something that Rizart had said to me the night before. And I do this a lot because Rizart says a lot of poignant things that he's said or got off other people. So then I echo him as a guy.
He also forgets that he said, so it's fine.
Exactly, it's fine. So I can say this. But because they died, I decided to bring up the poignant thing that he'd said to me the night before. And it was, a thorn is at their most alive when they're seconds away from death.
Oof.
Solid.
Oof.
So you're encouraging that behavior.
Yes.
Was
And
that
it was
basically a
Ash
try
and
again?
dust, buddy.
And that's
Ash and
genuinely
dust.
about 10
Whatever
minutes
it is.
before Larkin probably cooked it. So, never mind.
Oh, it gets painfuler and painfuler.
But yeah, everybody have Thorn to Thorns out there. It's great. It's great RP on the
Yeah.
battlefield.
It's like a mini, like, get it together without the mechanics.
It honestly was. It was a little like catch a breath. You're okay. I'm okay. We're gonna do this kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
beautiful. While the carnage is happening around you, it's beautiful.
Yeah, of course. But that's
So
the
everyone-
memorable part, is it? That it's
Yeah.
during the carnage.
Everyone have those Thorn to Thorns, even if it's just shouting at someone. Have fun. It's great. Enjoy yourself. And then it was the retreat.
Yeah, then it was the retreat, eh? I mean, I had already started hearing all of the things. Hold, go back, don't go back, do start retreating, start leaving, we're done. Yeah, I mean, there are some things that have probably been discussed to death at this point about gate times versus
I
an
don't think we need
agreement
to
with
actually
the
talk about
orcs.
that.
Yeah, it's not that relevant at this point. Suffice to say that the word came from Rizat, our field marshal, that we were going to hopefully start peeling back at some point soon. I think basically one of the next things I saw was I saw the egregores, one of whom was bleeding pretty badly, and I said, "We're finished. Leave." Because I was like, no, under no circumstances do I want them not getting back. I don't care what I've heard. I want those to go through.
That score's nearly killed
So
enough
they started
egregores this
going.
weekend.
Yeah. So they started heading back, and I think I saw you guys pretty soon after. And I think I said much the same thing. And Larkin's dead now, and this is meta information, so no one can use it against me. But what I did, I believe, say was, get yourselves off the field. I don't care what else is happening. Get yourselves off the field, because it was still dire, and all I could see was that this was going to be one of the worst retreats. And as much as I wanted in my logical brain to be like, protect our retreat, help us, I also was like, we've lost people. We lost a lot of people over the year last year. We lost Tiki. Ban wasn't in battle. We lost Sparkles. We lost Stellid. We've lost so many people. You've been doing great. I am not, after everything, going to be responsible again for more of you going down.
And this again
Get off the fucking
is this
field.
like respect for Larkin in terms of you don't fight. You didn't fight with us. You didn't fight with us because you're busy fighting with the rest of the nation. And we kind of already knew that, but there was always that respect of, we do what we do, you do what you do, and we'll help each other when it's necessary.
Yeah, I'm still Black Scar. I think has always been the distinction. Is I never left Black Scar, so all the decisions I made were still with Black Scar in mind, and your wants as well as what you're good at.
Yeah.
But so that began things. Wintermark did some stuff. We began retreating, and then stuff happened. Things happened. People said things. I made decisions.
Yep.
Dot. Leave it for the next event. So what about from your perspective?
Before that got said, we were on the left flank, and it was getting really spicy because the orcs had retreated back from the fort, so all of those orcs were now free to maneuver, and maneuver they did. Because we were basically a bit central left, so we could have pulled back around towards that section, and we kind of did in that way. We were on the leftmost side of the retreat, and as we were pulling back, the orcs pushed, and they pushed hard, and there was a bit where some Navari tried to dash across an open field, including Quinn Longshadow, sorry.
Quinn Longshadow, yeah.
And I saw them go down, and I was like, shit. Turned to whoever's next, Tadpole was next to me. I was like, Tadpole, Quinn's down. And he looked at me like, does that mean anything? Because, Black Scar, we only really care about Black Scar. Let's face it, it's just how we get through things.
It's why
it's how you survive.
Alive. Yeah.
How we survive. Yeah. But Quinn had saved me the previous event, saved Larkin the previous event, is a good friend of Black Scar. is a very good prominent member of Navarre.
Bodyguard and savior.
I was like, we got to make this decision real quick. And Tabor went, all right, where's Lottie? We turned around, couldn't find Lottie. Tried to get him as quick as possible. Spoke to him, was just like, Quinn's down, can we? And then as we said that, all we heard was a, ah! As like the line just buckled all the way to us. And that was like 10 meters. It's just like that.
Yeah.
We were behind the line about 10 meters and it just went gone. And
people
it was
were
like
actually fleeing.
People were fleeing, like sprinting. We were like, okay, we need to go. That's such a fucking shame because we could have done it if we were all there at the time. We not all there. We were all around, but if we were all together, we could have actually pushed and got Quinn up. We reckon.
Yeah, if
it would have been very risky, but if everyone wasn't fleeing, we could have done it.
Yeah.
It was definitely feasible. So that was a real shame. So we were kicking ourselves about that. And then everyone was kind of fleeing. Things were being shouted. It was going. We were like, okay. We didn't sprint. We didn't flee. We retreated.
Yeah, we walked. We walked.
We walked.
Facing the enemy, taking back steps until we got within like 25 meters of the gate, I reckon. And then at that point, because the trickle had become a flood of fleeing Imperial heroes, and at that point,
I didn't run. We were at least Lottie, Tadpole, myself, and whoever was there. Like fast walk.
Oh no, I turned around and trotted off at that point. I was like, cool, we're done.
And the one thing I clocked before I went off was the 20 meters from the gate. I can hear Larkin calling. Everybody get through the gate from up ahead of me. So I was the other side, of the gate to her. So I was like, "Gonna be fine. Gonna be fine." Genuinely said that in my head. Larkin's 10 meters away. It'll be fine. So I go, are we going? Because I get to the gate and I go, are we going? Are we going? Are we going? And Lottie goes, yeah. So then we take the step and go through the portal. That was the last we heard of her.
Yeah. Yep.
So what happened?
I can't tell you. I mean, I can tell you, but it is...
My DMs are exploding right now.
Because of it specifically being stuff that I might be able to make use of / bring up.
Don't talk about that bit.
Whispers. Yeah. But
active plot. Active plot.
Yeah, it's active plot. The things I can say were I was at the back of the retreat. I got cut down, and I went down, and it was. I can tell you how I felt about it. That's what I can go into.
Yeah, you can do that.
Cried like a sad baby. I was actually quite in shock about it, I think, looking back. Like really quite in shock. And I think everyone else around me realized that pretty quickly. That I mean it was so out of nowhere. And this is not just for me, I mean you guys as well. No one expected this to happen. It was so like conceptually strange to me that this could be happening, that I was genuinely doing the whole like classic stages of grief thing, like this can't be happening, like I'm so angry, but it just can't be, like no, it really can't. And I was crying, and I think because I went down with Kit, which is not a spoiler to say, and he was there like, yeah, you know, it's okay, it's fine. And I was like, I know I'm panicking you, but in the same instance as I'm having this incredibly overwhelming emotional reaction, I was also in my head and trying to out loud vocalize the fact that I'm totally fine. Like I will process through this. And it's kind of also simultaneously amazing to have such a reaction.
Mm.
Yeah, fuck you.
But also I was beside myself. I really was. And they had one of the refs who have found out, I believe is known as Tin, who I've met at other LARP games and have spoken to a bunch of times before, which was really nice. Kit vanished off after a while because I just couldn't move. I couldn't sit up. I was just lying there genuinely. And then I eventually managed to sit up after a while. And I was just weeping continuously, and bless him, this ref Tin was sitting there just having a chat. Is also one of the welfare refs, which I think is why he kind of took over. Got some Freddos. Kit came back with like a giant thing of Coca-Cola, and I was like, oh my god, this is yeah. I was trudging back, trying to avoid like the orcs who were, the monsters who were going back. That was super late. I probably sat there for a good,
Well,
between 5 or 10
this
minutes.
is why you caused such a ruckus.
I know.
So, honestly, feelings after the battle pretty low. It was such a tough fight that.
And
we knew we were successful, so it was good. But we were exhausted, and to be fair, we hadn't achieved our objective. It was a tough fight. It was so tough that we were all kind of like, "Fuck." So we trundle back to camp, and there are echoes of people saying, "Oh, did Larkin make it? Oh, Larkin might not have made it." And we're hearing this, and we're going, "Nah, that's not true. She's like 10 meters from the gate. That can't happen. That couldn't have happened."
But while I'm
There is no
thinking much
graphite
the
on that
same
roof.
thing to myself.
There is no graphite on the ground. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, we get back to camp and we're all having a chat, going, "Bloody hell, that was tough." Getting all our armor off, just waiting for the return of the rest of the group.
As I've ducked into like wipe my face of some of the stuff. Like I got cleaned up. I had some hugs. I trudged the long way around. Oh my god!
Private Citizen, and at the time, Field Marshal Rizard Dancewalker turns back and goes, "Anyone seen Larkin?" And we're like, "No." I'm sure she's fine. Maybe just gone to God or something to pick up a drink. And Clay was like, "I'll trundle over there. I've got something to do." I was like, "I'll come with." And it was honestly at that point I was going, I feel like this actually could be true, but we're gonna go and check at least. I it's that kind of thing of OC. I was probably believing it more than IC I was. So IC it was like, nah, it's not true. It's all just some people are getting overexcited.
Yeah.
Hysterical.
It's easy to assume people have died until you find them.
And we walked over to God. We didn't see anyone there. We walked over to the first aid tent and didn't see anyone there. And we were going, okay. And then we walked back, and it's like, yeah, it started to settle in now that this might be true. And then walking back, but still haven't seen it. Still, the egregores hadn't confirmed the death yet. So
you hadn't had standing yet, right?
Gonna believe it. We hadn't had standing. And it is at that point we go back to camp, couldn't see them there, and then standing's called, and as I'm walking across, I see outside the OC gate, the far back of Navarre, a little gremlin.
A little dead gremlin.
A little dead gremlin, and
yeah,
you give me a look.
Through, and the first person I saw was you crossing that thing, and I was
and I give you a look. And I'm just shaking my head.
You.
I'm just shaking my head at you, just going, because that confirmed it to me.
Yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure I gave you everyone a bit of a head shake because I'd come in with Kit, and I was like, I can't talk to anyone yet. So I saw you, just shook and just hiked it right and took the shortcut.
You did, yeah, but you notified, we kind of
there's enough for you to
acknowledge.
Yeah.
We'd acknowledged each other.
Someone I can't remember because I went around the tents and then someone walked up to you. I don't know if it was Finn or Reese.
Yeah.
And went, oh, are you back? And I just went, no. And they were like,
so I then went over to the circle, and at this point I'm preparing because I know what's happening, and I'm like, okay. Well, Farron's not going to be happy about this. And there's OC. I see OC bleed, but I'm not tearing up yet. And Rizart's there, Clay's there, and they're having a chat going, has it been confirmed yet? And I'm going, yeah, but no. It hasn't been confirmed, but it basically has. Oh, okay. So they're still waiting, and we're waiting. We're waiting, and it does feel like a while. And then I'm at standing, basically waiting for it to be said so I can actually cry. I'm just holding in tears because I don't know it yet. I don't know it. And then they start going down the list. I think it was Brenos' speech actually that did it.
Yeah, because I think I'd already got to standing at this point, and there wasn't like, was there a list of names? If there was, then I
There
missed
was, but I wasn't there for it. If there was,
Okay, yeah.
but it was
yeah.
Brenos'
I didn't hear
speech.
anything until yeah, I was there not that long behind
We
you.
did it, but it was not good today. We lost a lot of people,
including one of our generals.
And at that point, I was just like, I stormed away from camp, from standing circle, just straight tears, and then I was basically on floating sob
Yep.
boy, just looking for anyone to cry on.
Oh, dude, when I
Yeah.
found you,
So
I was
that's
I was like,
Malarkey.
oh no.
That's what I was there for. I was
Oh,
going,
no.
I can cry this out, but come on, let's go and milk this for as much as it's worth. Go and find like Lindy. I was just like, Lindy, man. And then I just full on sob because
I turn around, I'm like,
at that
oh
point.
my god, what's happened? Because Sol is a fantastic real/fake crier.
No,
It was so good.
they are real tears that I can obviously
I mean, the
lean
emotions
into.
were all real. That's
Yeah.
the thing about LARP
But
death, is
it
that the
was-
emotions are so real.
You can lean into them more or not because you
Yeah.
can tell yourself this is fake and it's slightly
Yeah.
easier to get over those tears. But I wasn't. I was going, that's real and she's not coming back. So full on sob.
Yeah, you gave me that real emotional slap round the face. I don't know if your parents have ever like said, "Oh, Matty, so come to the kitchen," and then they just look at you and they've got some bad news.
No, that one. No,
That-
one.
That hit me, and then I was like, "Oh, come here, Farron." And I felt, that like Gordon Ramsay clip when he's got
Yeah.
the little kid's kitchen, like there, darling, there, sunshine. I was just like, "Come here, shush, hush, what's happened?" Larkin's dead because I hadn't seen Larkin come in. I'd just seen you step out of the tent after you got changed, and you're wearing some
Yeah.
red stuff, and I was like, "Wow, cool
I had a
outfit."
big old thing over my head as
Yeah,
well.
and then you raised your hand, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
no!" That because I'd
Mhm.
been slow. So yeah, I just had that. Then Farron crying, and I'd missed the drama. I don't know if any of you two caught the drama.
Oh, I
in the,
did.
in the
Yeah,
circle.
I was
I
still
didn't.
there.
Which
I missed
is
that.
it'll lead to it actually.
Oh, okay. It was really cool. I was still really beside myself, and I was listening because when your dramatic character died and no one's heard about it, you kind of want to be like, I want people to know. I want to see what they think. Like, I
Yeah.
want that. I need that. So I was waiting to hear, and oh god, poor Eden, when Anwen was leading the circle, and she was so choked up because they'd already found out about Quinn.
Yeah.
Because Matt OC had spoken to the monster crew and got himself tossed through the gate. So they had his body to do a final speaking to and stuff.
Yeah.
So there had already been that. But
Which,
yes, it
full
was just
respect.
one after the other.
That's allowed for Quinn Longshadow.
Effing chap.
Yeah,
Big personality.
yeah, absolutely. And it was crazy. But I was listening to some of it, and the shouting that Brenos did was amazing. And then when
Honestly, props
Talus
to Ian.
stepped forward,
Props to Ian for playing Talus so
Yeah.
much like Talus. It's beautiful.
that made such a good moment. I luckily managed to grab him to talk to him at the end of the event as well, because I was
So,
like,
I didn't know
wow.
anything about the.
Well, wait. Let me say what actually happened first. So, for anyone who hasn't already listened to the LARP Noobs podcast and heard it from that side, from my perspective, I was sitting there being a sad, miserable little ghost, aka #lurkin, which is my new temporary name. I was like sitting sadly on a log, and then suddenly things erupt, like absolutely erupt, and I was just so like, what's going on? Ran forwards to find like Talus is on the ground. I had to kind of like look back a bit because I was like, no, I'm dead, I'm not involved. But Brenos had, and everyone was going, Brenos just punched him. Brenos has punched Talus. And then Clay got into it and was like pulling out a knife, and everyone was calling for freezing brands and everything, and going, Talus is the one that did the thing, which we won't really go into. Listen to the LARP Noobs about that one. But yeah, it was insane. And then some guys started doing some shouting about a spear. I don't know what that was about, but that got a bit disruptive. That was the point I left, because I was like, this isn't.
So I didn't know
anymore.
anything about the gate cooling or Talus being involved or any of that. and I was still
Yeah,
wandering around.
had you guys actually even heard like the whole gate call thing when you were on
We
the
Not a
heard
clue,
people
not a clue.
yell, "We've got 2 minutes to get through the gate" or something. But
Yeah.
honestly, we were like, "Have we?"
It was bullshit. Yeah, I remember sat there. I was looking at my
Right.
timepiece. Like, no, we don't. We've got like another
No, we
40
don't.
minutes.
Yeah,
Like, this
we
is
had done
bullshit.
the. No, we
You've
don't.
done the maths.
Yeah, so we were that's why we were so less stressed about the whole situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hadn't heard anything about that other than or why people buckled. Just assuming that that's kind of what happened. And you had come and given me an item of Larkin's that was on her bed.
Yes, I had
Which-
the amazing piece that the Iron Hills that Chris Bosford made
Yeah.
for Izella's dance,
Which I
Beautiful
clutched in my
piece.
hand and did
Oh
not let go
no.
for the
Sorry,
rest of the
guys.
event.
Sorry to interrupt. Chris DM'd me on Facebook, and every time we mention the Iron Hills, like we owe them royalties. You've just done me in.
No,
I should have warned you,
counteracted
but
Iron
yeah,
Hills,
you
Iron Hills,
It's
Iron Hills, Iron
counteracted
Hills.
by the fact that I am now supposed to not tell them that the Iron Hills were the official Larkin armorers, and therefore it is definitely not the Iron Hills' fault that she's dead.
Tell
So
him.
don't worry, it balances out.
Tell him that the debt is with Ban Shattersong.
Oh, I'd go and talk to what's the former freeborn admiral called? Esteban? Yeah.
Yeah,
talk
go
to-
talk to Esteban
yeah,
about
talk
that.
to- I have a
Kill
feeling
him.
that
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
I don't want to interrupt the Iron Hills podcast, but a certain Iron Hills character might have actually died in that battle as well.
He
Aw.
did,
Yeah.
yeah. He's coming back as a
I've-
different Iron Hill.
Well, anyway,
I hope
Larkin died, so that's the
Yes.
most important thing. Sorry, Iron Hills.
Factually
Sorry.
factually incorrect, but go on.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Awesome.
piece. It was very sad to part with it, but in the moment, I was like, I need Maddox to have something because he's
Yeah.
now officially general in lieu of me.
Yeah.
And I want him to have something that makes it more official, and I want to pass something on, and I want something to be there. So I impulsively and immediately regretted it, and have come back round to it was definitely the right thing to do in the moment. Because I genuinely hadn't taken it on the battlefield. I thought to myself in the first, it's not actually that technically battle safe, and I don't really want to be running around with it on my chest.
I was
I'll leave
clutching
it.
that in my right hand underneath my cloak because I put my cloak on because I was like, I am
Yes.
crying. I don't need just a random people coming up to me. Like, it's not about that. And I was basically going around trying to find your LARP friends, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
your Anvil buddies who know who Farron is and whose shoulder he can cry on. And one of the first people I bumped into after Lindir was Talus. It was Talus coming out of the Ashbourne camp because I'd gone over there to try and find one of the Ashbourne, because I'm good buddies with them. And it was Talus, and I'm clutching this essentially dagger in my right hand under my cloak, and I'm going, Talus, I'm just crying, and he's like, "Do what you must," and kneels down. I'm like, "What?"
That's so fucking cool, man.
I haven't processed what this means because I still don't know what he's done or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm just
man,
like,
imagine if
no,
you had.
man,
You
just
could have just offed Talus right then and there.
Oh.
I need a hug. And he's like, "Oh, buddy." I cried to himself, still not aware, but I'm still clutching this thing in his hands, and he's just like, "Yeah, okay," walks off. But yeah, it was just so funny that I didn't know, but I literally had a dagger in my
You
hand.
hugged him after what he did.
Yeah, and then I was
I-
basically going around finding, Geller and other friendly faces.
I want to shout out temporarily the decision to, and I did say this to him, I think, in the moment, not in the moment, but after we were packing up. The decision to IC take on something that was technically an OC issue is so, I have so much respect for that, because there are so many times when OC things happen in battles or in the game which impact the IC game. You can't deny that they've impacted it, right? They have to impact. And that means that somebody, IC, has to, take the weight of something that genuinely wasn't their fault in or out of character, but now kind of has to become it.
Wasn't
And that
only his
sucks.
fault, and he took the blame.
No,
of
exactly.
everyone.
But
Yeah.
he took the blame. And there have been other times when there have been, for example, on skirmishes, when things might have gone wrong from an OC point of view, and players have then kind of railed against that, and every time you discuss it, it's kind of gone into a, oh yeah, but
It's
OC
gone
is
to the
because of
complaint
this. And I'm like,
spot,
I don't really care that OC it's because of that. Like, I get that, but now in the moment in this event, you have to like
Deal
you
with
have
that,
to take
yeah.
that on. It's
Mm.
part of the game. I'm sorry, you have to figure out a way to do that and deal with it and get better. That's just what you've got to do. And then maybe after the event or later on, you can go, oh, actually, I know I said it was my fault, but funnily enough, it was some of these OC things also impacted it, and that was the main
Yeah.
thing.
But I don't
Because
think...
yeah, that happens, and I have so much respect for Ian for
Yeah.
doing that, because it just makes the game better. Because we could have
Oh, he's
spent
such
the
a
rest
good
of that
role player.
afternoon arguing with essentially with PD about the fact that and railing and feeling really frustrated and fruitlessly frustrated because you can't change anything about how that went.
Wasn't
But
there also a
instead, he had
general
a target.
that we
A
didn't...
what?
I think
Oh
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. See,
One
there's
of the
things
one
like
of the
this.
generals we had to knock out was just dressed in a certain way, but so was one of the other random orcs. So when we got them, the rest were
Yeah,
like, yeah, sure,
there's
good
a
enough.
few things like that, and you know what? There is always the feedback at profounddecisions.co.uk. There's always that email, and they do appreciate people sending them in. They might not always respond.
It's no
Or they might not
reply
always
at.
respond positively.
Uh,
I've had responses, but it it doesn't guarantee that anything will change. But the more often and coherently people put in feedback, the more they have to use when they like start reviewing things. But certainly, yeah, I completely I love the shit out of Ian for doing that, because it also gave a focus for people I see to do
Yes.
something about that frustration that they were feeling on an OC level. And that really like cleared the air in a way. It felt I felt relieved, and I wasn't even playing to like be like, oh, okay, it was Talus's fault. It's not just because it's a person, but then I'm not sitting there feeling like disgruntled for the whole time, going, oh well, if only PD had done this or that, or oh, what an annoying fuck up. Like, you're like, okay, fine, compartmentalize. Talus spread the call, therefore
Yeah,
you're
actions
back in
have
the game.
consequences.
We're in the game. We're immersed in the moment. And actually, yeah, exactly. That's not leaving aside the fucking stupid thing that the Liga, I think it was Egregore, came and chatted shit in the standing circle, which I have beef with, but I was dead at the time. So
that's an Avari stabbing if
it should be.
That's another dead Agricole.
But that's an OC opinion for next time.
So yeah, I
In
can
2 weeks'
I can say the rest of the unfortunate hour was just more tears and more tears outside of military council.
Yeah, because we both did I meet you? Did I see you at military council?
Yeah, we met at military council again.
Yeah, because I think I'd already gone, and I'd spotted a few people, and I would kind of hovered, and I couldn't bear to not go. I had to just be there. I felt really bad about it. I was like, I shouldn't be here, but also, and then occasionally one by one, someone would come over and be like, oh, I heard, like, and give me a big hug, and that felt so nice because it just soothed that part of me that was like, I'm never going to be able to talk to these people again because I'm dead, into kind of, okay, well, OC, I know that they're still my friends and want to talk to me, And bless him, Owen came over and I got lots of hugs, and I was like, I never got hugs off Brenos. This is a lie.
Yeah.
But I think you could tell I was pretty fucking gutted about everything. So yeah, that was basically the end of my event too. Lots and lots of crying, especially when I saw,
because
oh my god, the worst one.
Oh,
Well, before the storm, that fucking storm though, that really shit everyone up.
Yeah.
But before that, so I'd gone when I first went over, and I'd had a chat. I hadn't even spoken to Owen, but I was having finally a hug, and I was like, oh, I'm sad, but I'm okay. And I looked over his shoulder, and I saw Asenath Kiara like looking at me with these sad eyes, like, are you? And I just had to shake my head, and she just started welling up, and that was the point where I just burst into tears, and I went over to you, Sol, and I just grabbed Sol, and bless you, you just held on as I was just weeping into your shoulder.
I needed it just as much. It's fine.
It was so needed. It really was. But it was good. So yeah, that was.
And then the storm kind of curtailed our.
It was bullshit. Yeah, you guys are having this lovely RP. There's me. So I put the banner down and I go and get a hot dog after I give Farron a hug because I miss all the drama, so I just don't know what's going on until we get post timeout. So get a hot dog and see all these messages of like, you can bring your car on from 1 o'clock because there's a fuck off big storm about to hit us, which explained all the cars suddenly driving around, which totally killed the vibe. Like
That kills the
Yeah,
game
they do,
immediately.
it
You're,
really
you're,
does.
you're out.
Immediate
Yeah.
end to role playing. I was like,
And
is
look,
it 3 o'clock? What the fuck's happening?
To be fair, if that storm had hit, it would have been dire. So I understand the decision, but I almost kind of wanted them to say like you can start packing up from 1, but you still can't bring your car until like 2, because you can pack up your entire tent and stuff.
In fact, you've
quite
got to now.
easily.
Yeah, that was the rule. It said
Yeah.
pack up now, drive your car, and then get out. But
Yeah,
like if PD
it
is
was
scared of
early.
something, you know it's bad. But it didn't
Yeah, it would've
materialize,
been a
which
bad
I guess
storm.
is the best result. But it got
Yeah.
me. It was a beautiful day, and there was that part of like, what if I just got 3 hours of RP? You know,
Well, that was
Yeah.
the worst thing is I'm sharing a tent,
I could have
and
made so
an
much more money.
an IC tent with Reese in our camp, and it's like he can't leave until I pack my shit up.
Yeah.
But I need to go and finish this up because
Yeah.
Chloe.
Yeah, I got that message as well. From the people I was going with, who were like, "Hey, do you have much more you need to do because we need to pack up and leave?" And I was like, "I'm going until timeout. Fuck you. I really can't not. I know I'm dead, but it's not gonna happen."
Yeah.
And they.
So I was like, I need at least an hour to wrap this up. Like,
Yeah.
I can't just not. So yeah, it was a bit of a bummer, but hey, what an event!
It happens. What an event. Well, we've done it, folks.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
we
it
record
took
this
us
like
an extra 4 weeks, but yeah, fuck it.
it's like a week and less than a week and a half. We're gonna be at Anvil again. So
I'm gonna call this a nice recap before we go into the next event.
I think that's
I
what
think
this
it
has been.
works. Yeah. Or an
Nailed it.
unnice recap.
Oh my
I'm not
goodness
sure if
me,
we can
yeah.
call it nice.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's close. It's disgustingly close.
We can
It
have
is,
I have to get my kit sorted.
10 days.
Yeah.
10
I've got to
days.
get my kit sorted.
So
I need to. I have so much to organize.
yeah, me too. Should we wrap this up in a fashion, or is this it?
No, I'm not going
I
to just
don't know
press the
if we
stop
can
button
wrap
like
it
that.
up.
so.
Are we organized enough for that?
Nah.
Oh, can I? This has been Larkin Shattersong signing off for the last time.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Oh,
I'm actually quite sad about that again now.
yeah, that is a sad. I have some good news, some wholesome news actually to share. So, I can always just delete it after this sentence. So, listeners, if the podcast ends here, you know why.
Well, if the podcast ends here, then this
No,
is
it was there, not here.
Faranthar last song.
The
Shattersong.
last of the songs.
the last.
Yeah.
I will repost the
See
sound.
you on the field.
Oh, and enjoy death, guys. I think I mentioned it before, but character death is mostly for your friends.
Can't relate.
So think of it as a good thing.
It is a good thing. Can relate. As
It
a
is.
recovered death alcoholic, then yeah.
It's awful. It's awful. Like when Ban died, I cried a lot, but what a memory.
You know what you've done to me now,
I will
though?
never forget.
You have
the
to make
time
me
I
cry.
cried.
You have to make me cry next.
Hashtag all my friends are dead. Who's going to mourn me when Farron's gone? Thanks, guys.
You've got the rest of Black Scar. It's
They
Yeah.
don't care.
They actually like you.
They would miss you.
Yeah. You're the
Result,
good
miss
one.
you.
The first one was an active liability. The second one
The
abandoned
Ashbourne
them.
would.
The third, you matter. You matter, Sol.
Yeah, imagine you come back though, and they're just like, oh, thank God, thank the virtues.
You've got to bring me back for your Whispers next event. That's what needs to happen first.
Ooh.
Buy your tickets at the
Blackscar.com.
Oh,
blackscar.com.
That's actually sorry. The wholesome thing. That's actually very related. So this is entirely beyond E1.
Okay.
But no, hear me out. So people listening, thank you very much for using the reference code in the. Shut up! Listen. All right. I'm not about to start talking about Raid Shadow Legends. This is wholesome. Okay, believe me. So for those of you who don't know, my brother actually got me into LARP years and years ago, but he's disabled and he's not been able to go for a long time. because of his illness. Now, luckily, he's been getting a little bit better enough to start approaching maybe coming back to Anvil, just an
Woo!
afternoon, that kind of thing. And for those of
Yeah.
you who've actually bought tickets for my reference code, you've paid for his ticket. So
Awesome.
Oh, you can
you've
use a
done a
his
really good
code instead.
service. Yeah, and my mum as well, who's his carer,
Oh,
it's
you
covered a
good egg.
ticket for her as well. So you've got my family back together and back LARPing. So thank you very much. It's very kind of you, and it's a wholesome end, I
That is
think, to
nice.
Go
E1.
team.
In death comes new life, or at least new characters. So yeah.
Aw. Yeah, once we get Kit together anyway.
Do you know?
Should we do the thing? Do the final words?
Sure.
Is there a thing? What's the thing?
Just
What
straight to the Empire.
strength is Larkin?
Like-
As Thorn, Larkin died as Thorn.
Thorn. Oh, that's good. Until next time, dear listeners, remember to keep your friends safe and your generals safer.
Safer. Bye.
Bye.